Alright guys, so this will be my review of the NZG LR1300 with the Derrick kit. And as you could tell, this is the Van Marwijk version. Sorry if I mispronounced that wrong. Anyway, I already have the 1300 and I got this version for the fact that it comes with the Derrick kit, and I thought the colors were pretty cool online. When you get it in your hands in person, you'll see that the colors are 10 times nicer than they look in pictures, and overall just a really great model. The way I'm going to do this review is I'll go with the body, and then go to the wagon, and then the Derrick, and then the boom and the luffer. And I can almost guarantee this review will be in 2 parts. So if you're watching this when it's first uploaded, part 2 will probably be up in 2 to 3 days. Anyway, I'll get this started now. So starting off with the tracks, you can see that they are very detailed pads. They even have the little indentations that the real crane would have. The bad thing about them is that although they do roll, they are pretty tough to roll, and the one thing is, because of that, the weight of the crane will sometimes make them slip off the rollers, and that's why I really don't like to roll them. Another thing when rolling them is, obviously these are painted from the die cast, they're painted black. I wouldn't recommend rolling them because I wouldn't want the paint to scratch off, and I really haven't rolled mine except for what I'm doing right now. You could say that they roll smoothly, but I really wouldn't recommend rolling them in case a link breaks. They do give you other links, but they won't go back to normal. They give you these little steps right here, and they're pretty cool as well because they're painted silver, and they really do, you know, look out from the actual frames of the tracks. And if you look at the frames of the tracks, they do look very nice, and they even have the rollers underneath, and those rollers do roll as well. Front drive motor over here is pretty detailed, and the back of the tracks over here does have a tensioner. And I don't necessarily agree with these having a tensioner, because if you roll them, you could even tell the tensioner comes in and it could slip off, but they put it there and it is a pretty cool feature. Zooming out and turning the undercarriage, there are in total 4 body weights or ballast weights on this crane, and they're right here, and they basically just stack on top of each other like this. I'm not going to take this one off because I have to say they are a complete pain to put on, because there's not really you know, a set cast for them to go into, and they kind of just drop into place, and they could take a few minutes of fiddling to get exactly in, but they do go in. Coming around, I'll show you the other side, which is exactly the same, as you could say, and there's 2 over there, and they do come off like I said, but for the, you know, the length of the review, it would probably take too long to put them back on. Now, coming over here and raising up the camera, this is where, you know, my favorite is. If we look over here on the deck, you can see there's this silver piece, and this is plastic, and you install this, and if we turn the crane, I could show you that it does come off, or not, and it does come off as well. Again, sometimes it can be a little difficult to put on because it is in a very tight spot, but if you line up the tabs, and there's like just little pockets that it goes into, you could get it in very easily. And when you assemble it, I highly suggest you spin the undercarriage to the side that you want to put it in on is the opposite cab side, and you could, if you line it up to where the edges hit the edges, you could put it in just like that. So it is pretty easy, but sometimes, once again, it could be a pain, as if any crane assembly. Obviously, you could see that it does spin a 360, and we will now get to the body. Now, looking at the body, you can see it's in the special colors, and the cab matches as well. I think the cab looks very well. On my other 1300, and even somebody asked me this, the cab kept getting caught on the tracks, and I guess it was just maybe a, you know, maybe just my model or something, but this one seems to be fine, and it turns very well. And another great feature is that you could tilt the cab up. so the operator doesn't have to bend his neck. One thing that you have to watch out for is that you don't pop the cylinder out of the casing, because there is no stop. And I'm not going to do it for the review once again because it will take too much time, but you do have to watch out for that. Regardless, around the cab has metal catwalk, and even if you look on the inside of the cab, you can see it is very detailed. And I like that a lot, especially on a crane, because, you know, it just looks very well, since the cab is, you know, pretty much out there in the open. And it has your lights and your mirror, but you might want to watch out because I already accidentally broke one of my antennas off up here. They are very delicate, so watch out for that. Going on to the body, and you can see this side, which features opening doors, and the front opening door, and you have to move the cab for that, right there, features the first winch, and this is the winch that I run my hook block off. And if you look in here, you'll be able to see that little tab right there, and the key goes right into that, like so, and you can see it will even hold it in, and you push in on it and you return it, you know, clockwise or counterclockwise. Obviously counterclockwise to unroll the drum, and then clockwise to roll it up. That's the way that I do it. You want to watch out when turning it, because if you put the key in there and it locks in just like a Lego piece would, or like a key, if you bend it too much, you could break the little tab off, and then your drum is ruined unless you want to put your fingers in there and turn it. It's just a big ordeal and it won't work. This door right here is for the hoist for the A-frame. So if you didn't have the Derrick, and I'll show you the A-frame in a second, this hoist is possibly the worst drum working gears, or whatever you want to call it, on any model I've ever had. It completely sucks, and many model collectors will tell you they keep the Derrick on for the simple fact that it's a lot easier to boom the crane up and down because you don't have to mess with this, because it absolutely sucks, and there's no way to put it, then it sucks. My other one, this drum right here, really doesn't work at all. And it's not just my model, it's numerous amounts of people's models. It's just something you gotta live with, but if anyone does get the model and they don't have the Derrick, I would suggest putting it in one place and not plan on moving it, because it's just not very good. Besides that, you could see the side of the body has very nice decaling, and the marking, it just, you know, just looks very nice and just flows very nice as well. You can even see that the vents right here are actual vents. They don't go completely through, but they are etched. Now, going on to the other side of the body, before I get to the top and the counterweight and then the wagon, I hope that I have enough room, which I should. You can see that this side is almost the same as the other side. This side only has one opening door, and that one is right here, and it opens like that, and if I focus it correctly, you can see there's another key in there, and it just goes right in there, and once again you push and then you twist it and then you let go of it and it'll lock back. And I use that one for my whip line running off my boom. And you can see that this side of the body is, you know, just about the same as the other. Once again, very, very nice paint and nice decaling. It really is top of the line, and I really enjoy it a lot. Right here, where you can see a front, is where the boom mounts right onto the body. And, you know, you could tell that it looks very, very nice. And if you notice, you can see this hydraulic line and this one. They are supposed to go into here, and this one goes for the hoist for the Derrick, but they just pop out a lot. I would glue them, but I feel like down the line, if I ever, you know, want to display for transport, if I glue it, it's just going to wreck it, so I don't do that. But you can see the boom mounts right here, and there's actually a screw here and then a nut right there, and the nut actually locks into the boom so it won't fall out, and that's very nice as well. Now, I'll show you it from this side, the top of the body with the winches. And it's pretty nice, especially the way that they did it, and I'll show you that in a second. So, here is the top of the body, and I know it is pretty hard to see in there, but there's really not much to see anyway. Alright, so, top of the body, focusing over here, you can see the whole body has this kind of like almost like a quilt texture, and that's supposed to be the anti-slip texture. They painted it silver, which I very much agree with them, they should have did. I feel like if it would have been yellow, it wouldn't have looked right, and the silver makes it look like a deck up top. And in here, you have your drums, and there's one thing that it was just mine, and it really wasn't avoidable, and I'll show you that in a second. But the top pretty much has the drums, and I'll spin it so you might be able to get a better view of it. And this might be a better view, I really don't know. But once again, the top has like that cool textured anti-slip, and over here it kind of has like a finer texture, and the exhaust, which is cool, is able to come off. So if you put the body on a low boy or a low loader or whatever you would like to call it, it would work out very, very good. Now, going to the back, you could see that the counterweights are completely black, and they have the yellow stripe, and I'm glad that they did not keep the stripe the Liebherr yellow, because it would not have matched very well, obviously. Now the cool thing about the counterweight is that they all are separate, so you have the 10-ton weights up here, and then on the bottom you have the 5-ton weights. On there are 3 5-ton weights down here. And sometimes they are a little hard to come up because of the paint, and they're just basically half of the other ones. And the way that they do it so they don't fall off is, once again, they are sometimes a little thick with the paint. The way that they do it is they give you this pin right here, and you slide it right down the center of them, so the weights aren't able to come off or drop off individually. So if they do go to, and as you can see, sometimes you have to really fiddle with it a little bit. So if they do go to fall off, they'll all be one piece, not, you know, separate pieces. Anyway, the weights obviously could come off, and they reveal over here. And I normally don't keep this on, but with this model I really like it, so I put everything that's possible on it. These are the counterweight lifts, so you could, when you have the tray, which is this part on the floor, these will actually lift it. They're very stiff, so I might not be able to show you, but they're stiff enough to where they hold it, and they're just so stiff I'm not even able to move them. I don't want to break them. But these will extend up, and you could put the tray on the floor and then actually use these to lift it in a stop motion. And they work very, very well, and you could take them off completely. There's the pins down here. I'm not sure if you're able to see them, but those work very well. And once again, counterweights do come off. Now, going to the wagon, or if you're American, you'll probably know it as a Max, or if you're familiar with Matatalk. This is my favorite part of the model. I really enjoy this a lot. Because one, it has very cool features, and you know, it really does make the model a lot better. Now, it would have been nice if they made it so you could convert it to a floating tray. Not sure if the real crane could do that, but this one does actually have some pretty cool features, and I'm going to show you them right now. Just have to actually get a pair of pliers. And the one very cool feature is, if you remove the pin that they give you, I just used a bolt from the rod, you could actually, if you lift it, you could extend the maxer. So if you want, you know, a better radius or whatnot, you could extend it and, you know, get a better radius. And I think that's very cool. They give you 3 points to extend it on, and let me just fix my camera.